All right, everybody. So we have the moon in Taurus now, and it will be in Taurus through the 18th. The reason I kept saying 18th instead of the 20th for Mars's ingress into Gemini is because the moon will meet up with Mars as it's in those final degrees of Taurus, and that is always a big kind of kaboom-like energy. Hang on, I'm still setting my lights up here. As you know, I have a new lighting setup and I'm still getting used to it. And I am not a videographer. I'm an astrologer, damn it. But anyway, so I want you guys to be really ready and prepared for the 18th because on a personal level, it can be a great day. Okay, remember that. And the horoscopes are out on Patreon now. In fact, I made a video version. Okay, I don't do that for every horoscope, but when there's something really up on deck that's got my attention, has me a little more than concerned, then I do a video where I can explain the writing, okay? So that's what's up on deck. Plus, oh my God, we hit 600 patrons, like today. Like, what the heck? So, yay, and I've got a couple of ideas for goodies to come out. So, woo-hoo-hoo. I am overwhelmed. I cannot say how overwhelmed I am because I am literally kind of at a loss for words. And if you know me, you've been following me, you know that's hard because I'm usually not at a loss for words. But I'm truly overwhelmed because, I get to do my calling, so it's not a passion. It's part of who I am and it's what I do. So thank you, patrons. Super excited. I was really glad I made a video horoscope. I was like, wow, okay. So it's the same format I've been doing. I just voiceovered. So I talk about that and I talk about how to use that energy for the rising signs. Once again, explained how to kind of read those horoscopes, especially for you people who have mid to late degree rising signs. So anywho, the 18th is crunchy. It's super crunchy. And I think we're going to see some big events. So, and then that leads into the 19th and 20th. So when the moon moves into Gemini and Mars is in its final degree of Taurus, and then on the 20th. So we're going to see some kind of a domino effect, just different things happening. And again, I'm really looking at weather. I'm really hoping it's mostly weather, but there are some things I have my eyes out for that make me a little worried. So was life always this eventful? You know what? Yes, it was. It depended on where you lived, but it's at a different scale now because we're in a massive time of change in human history. But it has always been eventful. Weather-wise, not the same because we have global climate change and a climate crisis that we need to address. And I believe we will be addressing one way or the other as we move through the Pluto and Aquarius era because we'll have to. We're not going to have any other choice, The corporations have to stop robbing Peter to pay Paul. And at some point, the people will insist that happens. Whether they just quit en masse and people just stop and they're like tired of it. Just kind of like wages haven't met inflation for decades. So the pandemic actually kind of kicked that ball rolling. So yeah, life always has had a lot to it, but we are definitely seeing one of the bigger shifts socially and culturally, and a lot of that has to do with climate change. That's why I'm constantly looking at what's going on weather-wise, and weather and climate are different, but we know there'll be more extreme weather because of climate change. And that impacts our economies. It impacts everything because we live on a floating rock. It's like, it's really not that big of a planet when you look at the big giant scheme of things. And so it's really important we start to remember we're not separate from this. We didn't come from somewhere else and get to leave for somewhere else. We are part of the living, breathing planet. It is an entity of itself and we are part of that. And so we are one of the many species here. So yeah, you like the lighting, Jen? Thank you. Yeah, I'm working on it. So this is working. I might need to, do I need to raise? Yeah, I need to raise the light. Like I said, she's a one-woman show kind of when it comes to the production. So I take input. Come on, why won't that go? Oh, because I'm doing it from the wrong direction. If you could only see as I try to change the lighting. Here we go. 1 second. Let's get this light raised. Let's see if this is it. Aha, that was it. Okay, hang on. Try not to blind myself. Oh no, my eyes. So, yeah, so there we go. I got asked about Liz Cheney's future. I gave a very sarcastic remark, as in she won't be broke. Thank you guys. I've been playing around. My old light I managed to put behind. I was like watching other people's lighting. I'm like, what are they doing to make it look cool? So I'm still learning. So, cause I'm up here. Okay, Malcolm, you can come up. Oh, I have to lift you. Oh, big boy. Oh, Malcolm decided he's up. He did this during a reading today too. He just popped right up on my lap. Because I've kind of changed the corner around. I don't have the desk in front of me anymore. So, oh, he's going to give you guys some cheesecake there. So he's like, you know, Mom, the moon's in Taurus. I'm a Taurus. Give me that camera. Let me see my fans. We decided that Malcolm has a fake English accent today. And that he needs a monocle. So if anybody knows where I can get a dog monocle, let me know. So the moon is in Taurus, and you're witnessing a great Taurus moment. Love me, shower me with comfy things, give me fuzzy socks and much food, right? He had some good food. He's grinning at you guys too. Are you kidding? Are you kids? You're cute. Yeah, yeah, you know you're cute. He is. I ordered pizza tonight, so he got some pizza. So life is good. I'm getting the post-pizza love. He's a good Taurus baby. And I ran his chart again, and he's got a Taurus moon too. So he's a Taurus sun, Taurus moon. We don't know what the ascendant is. But yeah. He also kind of shares me with people, but not really with other dogs. Not a fan. So, but yeah. So with the moon in Taurus, the crunch alert is pretty high, and the main reason the crunch alert is pretty high is because, of course, the moon will conjunct with Uranus tomorrow evening. Dude, I know you have fans, but really, you're such a show-off. Oh, hang on, you're caught in the cords. There we go. Wait, are you still? Okay. No. Okay. Can we do this? Okay, this works. Okay, so it's like having like a toddler. So anyway, that's still not quite there. Like, I wonder if I need to. No, don't lick. Ooh, thank you. Sorry. There, my Libra moon. See, I'm still playing with the lighting. I'm still getting it, guys. Still getting the lighting. So tomorrow, there's going to be some interesting stuff go on. If you live east of the Rockies and you see thunderheads, you see things like that, you can expect maybe some hail, some lightning, some good old storms. I know you've been having them. You may have some more. I think things will intensify into the 18th as well. So now once Mars slams into Gemini, we can expect big winds. Now that's the 20th. Okay, and those things might start brewing up the night of the 19th. So I really expect the 18th, 19th, and 20th of August to be pretty intense days, weather-wise, politics-wise. Oh my God, that's so pretty. Thank you. I love the jellyfish. Malcolm's just gonna hang back and relax for you all. Really? He's like having a living teddy bear some days. That's really heavy because he shares Mom's pizza. But anyway, so I'm just giving you guys a heads up on the mundane stuff. Now, on a personal level, you could see some big growth moments. You could, and I don't mean the crunchy kind of growth. I mean like true understanding. This is a time to really hold on and grab onto radical self-love, understanding what really, really matters to you. And again, I talk about that in the horoscopes that are up on Patreon, and I made a video this time instead of just putting up the slides. Just because there's enough going on with the energy right now that I felt people needed a little more information. So when I feel that, that's when I make the videos. Otherwise, I just put up slides, and you'll see that as a patron. You go back through my copious amounts of posting, because I'm always posting. And we're going to celebrate the 600 patrons with a fun drop. We're going to make some fun stuff for you to be able to share on your social media and stuff, some fun astrology stuff. Astrology content. Use a little bit of humor because Mars is moving into Gemini. Now, like I said, weather-wise, that's very high winds we can expect. So, you know, hurricane season is about to start. So, not my favorite time for Mars to move into Gemini. But on a personal level, it's a great time to kind of invoke your sense of humor, lighten things up. Watch your lead feet when you're driving because you'll have the need for speed. It'll be a very communicative time. Hey, everybody. This is Malcolm. He's just getting the scratchy sign. He is a Taurus and soaking up the love. Oh, my goodness. Dude. He's just a baby. Are you just a baby? He's too dignified for that. So he's my scruffy mutt. I do occasionally get him clipped, but I kind of like him scruffy. So he's my little scruffy guy. I don't know if you guys remember Benji. And Benji was brown. He wasn't like tan and white like Malcolm. Oh, thank you for the kisses. Thank you, but no, thank you. But yeah, I always wanted a Benji. And when he's scruffy, he reminds me of Benji. So, yeah. When he's clipped, he's kind of nerdly and he gets to wear sweaters. So, but anyway, so it's going to be crunchy, guys. It's just the next couple days. You'll see some news that could be concerning or sad. And that's why when I gave the astro alert, I said, hey, sometimes we have to detach. And when I say detach, I don't mean don't care. Okay. Okay. You need to lay down behind me. Thank you. Can we both be comfy this way? Okay, we'll do it this way, all right? Really? Just this. It's like, Mama, love me. It's like he never gets pet. He knows I'm held hostage on the live stream is what it is. You know I'm held hostage, huh? What? You've had enough. You had pizza. No, I don't need kisses. Stop. Sorry. I'm being interrupted. You stop it. You stop it. I beat you. I beat you. See, he knows I won't. It's a game we play. I'll go, I beat you. And then he'll take, oh, you're going to play? I beat you. Arr. Arr. All right. You being saucy? You being saucy? Oh. He's just being, you're being a pill. Go get your toy. Here. Go this way. There you go. Here. Go get that. All right. Enough distractions from the dog. He's got, now we're doing zoomies. You could tell the moon is in this boy's sun sign. He's just like, energy. Normally he's taking naps this time of night, but today he's squirrely, so that's all right. He is the cutest. He really is. He does his job well. His job is 100% to be cute and cuddly, and he does it well. But anyway, so what I am, he is too cute. He is. He's playing in the bedroom by himself, so he's got something to throw around. He plays fetch for himself. So anyway, So he was lightening this up because I'm like, well, it's kind of heavy information. So we've got a bunch of stuff coming up on the 18th, 19th, and 20th of August. These are going to be some historic headlines. When I'm talking about detaching, I'm not talking about be a sociopath and, not care at all. I'm just saying, if it is not directly impacting you, then do not own it and own the sadness and own as if it did happen to you, because there's a lot wrong with that too. Okay. And the reason I say that, if you've ever gone through trauma, there might have been people around you who kind of glommed onto it and got an identity around your trauma, just me. So I try really hard to not grab onto other people's. Okay, we all have our own. We don't need to borrow it from other people and situations. We can be aware, we can be compassionate. But if you get down, if you get sucked down into that hole, you can't help anybody anyway. It really doesn't help anybody to be right in that moment of experience at all. Just like sometimes you can't jump into the water, you have to throw a rope or a life preserver, right? Otherwise you end up in trouble too. And so detachment just means kind of stepping back, and go, wow, that was really sad. And feel the feelings of the sadness, because there's some things that are just going to be big, right? And you're just going to have feelings about. And it's human to have feelings about those. And how do you help if that's where you stay, right? And so there could be, and I give this lecture every time before I think something big might be on the horizon. I am hoping I am wrong. I get no pleasure out of being right about those things at all. Okay, so my hope is I'm wrong. It's some weather. It isn't too bad. We see a few erosion events. I think we'll see some landslides, some rock slides, hopefully in areas where there's not a lot of people. Mountainous regions in the United States, but you'll probably see it in the subcontinent as well, especially if monsoons start over there. So we'll see. So yeah, I just think there's going to be some big energy that comes up. On a personal level, again, this is a time to grab on to understanding your value, your self-worth, all of that. Just grab on to who you are and radically accept yourself, because that's actually love. Okay? Love is acceptance. Okay? I'm not talking about tolerance. I'm not talking about I love you anyway. That's a really shitty thing to say. Anyway, I love you in spite of everything. That's a shitty thing to do to somebody. You just can say, I love you. I say that to everybody. Like, you probably heard on the podcast, I told Mackenzie, I love you at the end, because I do. We've made it this idea that love is just one thing. But when you appreciate someone, appreciation means to overvalue or increase value, right? When you buy something and it appreciates, it increases in value. And that's love. And Dumbledore was right. It is the biggest magic. And it doesn't mean you have to go around sacrificing yourself for everybody. That's not love either, because if it's not fair to you, it's not fair to everybody. But we can appreciate people. We can just love ourselves and appreciate ourselves. It's not selfish. It's not ego. In fact, I will argue that false humility, you see it a lot in like the newly awakened, or even some of the oldly awakened, or the people who claim they are. Like, well, I'm just humble. I'm just humble. If you're humble, man, you don't say you're humble. You got to be humble. You can express humility. You show it, don't say it. Anybody could say anything. Speaking of anybody can say anything, Mars will be in Gemini. Now, I happen to love Gemini energy because I have some in my chart, and I have a lot of beloveds who have Gemini energy, and I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly from it. Mars in Gemini is going to be really, really interesting energy. You want to look to the place in your chart that has Gemini. Okay. You want to look to the place in your chart that has Gemini, the house or houses that has Gemini. Okay. For me, it's 7th and 8th house in my natal chart. So The first part of that transit will deal with my contracts and agreements. Okay. What I'm giving and what I'm receiving, right? And then the next part will be magic. They'll be doing research. Okay. The eighth house has to deal with that which isn't necessarily public. It's very private. It's hidden from public view. It's an interior process. It can be gritty. It can be grief, but it's usually change of some kind and transformation. So for me, that's where the Mars and Gemini action is going to happen. It's going to be happening from August 20th in through March of 2023. That's a lot of Mars and Gemini. On a mundane level, there's going to be a bunch of things, but no, I'm not going to give the whole 12 houses here. Maybe I'll make some videos on it, but I do that for patrons, really. That's just a sample. How's that? Because I have my guides up that tell you what the houses are. My astro guides are available. If you're a patron, you get them for free, but they're really affordable. So everything I've written out in the Astro Guide Volume 1, Issue 1 is an excellent, in fact, I call it the ultimate cheat sheet because it talks you through what astrology is, what the building blocks are, gives you the astrology ABCs, including the breakdown of the houses, as well as the story of the houses. So that's all there. Okay, so that's all there. Yeah, worth a try. Yep, it was. It was worth a try though. You're right. And sometimes if you hang out on my lives, I'll talk about one or two, but I'll do it for certain transits. Let's put it that way. So like when we get towards eclipse season, I'll probably do that on a live stream. When I think people really, really need to know, instead of just go look it up. If you really want to know, you can study. You know, astrology is a field of study. And I get it when people are like, you know, I've been into it since I was a kid. Well, yeah, I was into like seeing sun signs as a kid too. It doesn't make you an astrologer and it doesn't mean you understand astrology. Astrology is like a field of study. It's the difference between watching National Geographic and actually studying like anthropology. Same difference, you know. And so I give a lot of materials and they're linked up in my bio. And I've got free stuff too. You know, if you really want to know, there's a whole free class. So I see, what is that? Oh, you're welcome. Yeah. Well, I appreciate, excuse me, I appreciate the support patrons give, and that's why I give you, you know, and that's how the podcast happens. So you guys support that. So it'll be a fun episode, next episode, with more people to think as well. It is really complex. Speaking of, I will have the master's class up and ready for you guys to register for. I'm doing a natal astrology master class. And so this one's going to be a little different than how I've taught in the past, because the last class I taught, I feel like the material was just like, mwah. It was so good. And so I was like, you know what? That's perfect. So I'm going to set up a classroom online where you watch the videos and then we come together live on Zoom and then we go through the material. Like you bring your questions after watching the videos and you get to kind of like just milk the experience basically. And so because I do the step-by-step explanations in those classes and they were so good. I was like, okay, we'll do a master's class where, you know, I'll expand it out from the material so that maybe we'll spend 2 weeks on one video, you know, so that we're not having to push the material. So this is going to be like the most thorough natal astrology class I've taught, where you can really dig in and really understand your natal chart. So we'll be announcing that soon. I just have to get it put together. And follow my own damn advice from my horoscopes to reorder my schedule in a way that works for me. Maybe I can, maybe I won't. I don't know. So just because you're an astrologer doesn't mean you follow your own advice. Just kind of like Alice in Wonderland. I often give myself good advice. I very seldom take it. All right, so yeah. It's all in the link in my bio. I have everything there. I haven't put the masterclass up yet because I don't have it up on the thing. And the mystery school invites, I swear to God, they'll go out. Yesterday I get hit. I don't know how many of you guys, you can put a heart in the comments. How many of you guys like had zero energy yesterday? Like felt like you got hit with like a anvil or something. I felt like I got flattened like a pancake yesterday. Yeah, it was just really weird. Like I couldn't even wake up. I didn't hear my alarm. I missed an appointment. Luckily, it wasn't a work appointment. But yeah, that was just crazy. I'm still looking at it. I think for me, it might have been Saturn like training my moon, but that isn't iffy. I don't know. Because I just kept looking at the transits and I just didn't see anything that kind of deflated, and the moon wasn't even square to Pluto, you know? But yeah, that energy was just kind of off and kind of weird. And like I said, I looked at the transits and I'm like, I don't know, this one was a little different. So I'm wondering if it wasn't like Schumann resonance or something geomagnetic. I'm sure it's in the astrology somewhere, but here's the funny thing. If something affects the astrologer, it's harder for them to see the transit because you have your blind spots, right? So it's probably also actually, you know what it probably is? It's probably Mars trine Pluto. Yeah, it's probably Mars trine Pluto. That was probably what it is. It was just a really heavy energy, like nothing, no amount of coffee, no amount of nothing would wake up. But it's probably was the Mars trine Pluto. Because I was like, the moon in Aries shouldn't have been, just like feel like you had lead weights on at all. And even like I looked at the Saturn, and Saturn was exactly trine my moon, but that won't weigh you down necessarily either. That depends on the sign it's in. Honestly, it was that helped me like just plug through the day. But yeah, it was a lot yesterday. So that's one of the other reasons I'm a little bit concerned about the moon kind of hitting Mars, as Mars is still trine Pluto until it's out of Taurus. I think we're kind of lucky that Pluto is retrograde right now. It kind of helps diminish things a little bit. But yeah, so when the moon touches over the top on the 18th, or late on the 17th, I expect some stuff to happen. Now, it's going to be really late in the United States, so I'm kind of looking over at Eastern Europe, part of Asia, and we may see some brouhaha. So that's just something to keep in mind. I talked a little bit about that on the podcast. I talked about it in the Patreon forecast as well. So there's that. Oh, congratulations, Heather. That's awesome. Yeah. We hit 600 patrons today. So yeah, as much as yesterday was like whoosh heavy, today I woke up before my alarm, hootie scooted through my day, got more than everything done. It was one of those days where it's just like everything was tripping right along. It was like, whoop. But I also woke up with this really kind of fun thought, and it was, you can tell I have Venus and Gemini, but my waking thought was action with adjectives. And I said it out loud even, and I was like, oh yes, action with adjectives. Ta-da! Little jazz hands with it. I'm like, okay, I'm like, all right. And then the next words out of my mouth was, oh, I like this one much better, and it was like, okay, maybe, like I said, time has been a little fluid. And so maybe we managed to shift ourselves out of whatever we were dealing with on Monday, because that was just crazy energy. But yeah, it was. Yeah, sometimes it's funny. Sometimes I won't remember my dreams, but I'll have waking thoughts. And I always love the ones that are super buoyant, because I'm just like, And I did set the intention before I went to bed. I was like, okay, I want much lighter energy tomorrow. Tomorrow has much lighter energy. And that was something I was looking forward to. But yeah. So yeah. Yes, the mods have got you. I'm going to be good. I'm not going to read comments because my eyes are tired. And I was able to see them, but now my eyes just went. So my vision goes variable. And it also depends on how I have these lights set. They are kind of weird. Oh, look. But new things to play with. So it's going to be kind of interesting over the next little while. As far as Liz Cheney's primary, it's kind of hard to tell. I was looking at her chart. I've got it here. Let me see if I can get it pulled up. Let's see. Oops, wrong thing. Let's see. I think it's effects. Yes. Go back. Pull this one up. It's here. Yeah, so this is Liz Cheney. So she's got Pluto transiting that 10th house. She has for quite some time. I don't think that really... Oh, she lost. They finally called it. Yeah, I'm not surprised, though. And see, this is what I was going to say. See, I wasn't even paying attention because I'm forecasting. But something else comes into play. You have to remember, the moon is going to cross her ascendant. She's already ready. She wasn't, she was already prepared to lose. She knew. And again, like I told somebody, she's not going to be broke anyway. Yeah. So, yeah. So she's still in office. They don't change seats until January. So, yeah, she knew what she was doing the minute she took on the January 6th commission. There's other stuff going to happen, and she also probably has a lot more inside knowledge of exactly how some cards are going to go flying in the air. She probably has bigger designs than being the representative for Wyoming, Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. So, and again, I don't see her as either a hero or a national treasure. I think she did the minimum. That's what an American should do. That's what we do. And great. But I don't think it was heroic, and I don't like her voting record. I won't like this other person's either. They haven't won that. I doubt the Democrat will win, whoever they are, and they probably aren't all that progressive anyway. My folks live in Wyoming. They actually are progressive, or at least my mother is. My father's more liberal. So she's got a life ahead of her. She's got plans, and she probably has some other stuff lined up. So, yeah, she knew. She knew the minute she did it. She announced her run for president? Did she? Who you said they aren't progressive? I said my mom is. You don't know my mom. No, she didn't. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's too early. Oh, I'll speak. Oh, no, I didn't say her opponent was progressive. Oh, yeah. Oh, she spoke a lot about Lincoln. Okay. Oh, yeah. No. And the Civil War. Probably. And we have some interesting astrology that kind of dovetails that. Like I said in my 2022 year ahead, we're at 1856. We're at 1856. 2025 is like 1861. Kind of. There are mirrorings. I have a video about, I meant to put it out today, but I'll do it tomorrow. I did a video about the potential of a mega flood in California, because the last one was 1861, 1862, that winter. And I was like, that's interesting. We're sitting at around 1856 cycle-wise. Let me take a look. And because I live in California, so I was like, maybe we should keep an eye on this one. Maybe I should drive to Wyoming beforehand. But yeah, so I'll put that one out. But yeah, so we're in a nebulous stage, but it's not going to be a repeat. It'll rhyme, but it's not going to repeat. Okay. So they're going to try, but it's just like the insurrection, guys. As horrific as that was, that anyone would even contemplate doing such a thing, let alone what they did. It was the most piss-poor organized insurrection in the history of coups. Okay? It really was. And granted, it was horrific on the ground, but it really was not well done. And I don't think any of their attempts will be done well. I think they really are agitating on the behalf of a foreign entity. I don't think it is an internal thing. And I think they're getting people whipped up. And I talked about that on my Orange Man Going Down podcast. That's patron only. I did little clips here because somebody said, oh, she should stitch videos where she made these predictions. I'm like, I don't make those predictions here on TikTok. Are you kidding? I do that like behind my Patreon, because if people want to troll me, they can fucking pay me. I have Saturn in the 6th house in Taurus. All right, people want to troll? Bring it. $3 admission. $3 a month. It's not that much. You want to troll me? You can pay me. So yeah, so Liz has a future, but yeah. I give solar returns a huge amount of weight, but most people don't know how to read them. You can't read them like a birth chart. You have to know how to do divinatory astrology. I actually, in fact, in my year ahead, in my career life path readings, I use both solar and lunar returns, absolutely. But you have to know how to read them, and it's not a beginner technique. There's a lot of like cookbook astrology out there, but it's not the same as knowing how to read it. So yeah. You like my attitude? Thank you. I've always had it. I will never get rid of it. It's just kind of who I am. So, oh, hang on. I'm trying to find that stupid thing. Hang on. There we go. But yeah. So, yeah. Attitude, that's my middle name. Lori Attitude Rivers. I used to try to tone it down. As a young person, you know, people would be like, oh, you're intimidating. And I'd be like, I'm 5'5". Okay. You know, but yeah. I don't actually, most Trump supporters aren't very bright. The people playing them are, including the ones playing Donald Trump, but they're not bright, or they'd understand the Constitution. So, and they'd understand the history, but they don't. So they're not bright. And they're ideologues. And what's sad is their lack of consequential thinking. So, and what it shows though is that you guys who are more thoughtful have to be involved, because the people who orchestrated where they got to today, and what I think is there was a massive orchestration, but in using the pawns have kind of gotten out of control, you know, and that's where their plan kind of fizzles. Because a lot of the people who put that plan in action aren't even alive today, you know, and honestly probably wouldn't have ever imagined people being that stupid. But hey, oh yes. So just remember, there is a song called I Don't Want to Be an American Idiot. It came out in the 90s. There was a reason for that. So But what we need to do is be involved, you know, and not sit back afraid. Because honestly, a lot of those people, there are some violent people out there, yes, but a lot of them don't know what to do when you do say, what? You know, give them a Scorpio rising glare, you know, so yeah. I didn't really read her chart. I just talked a little bit about her transits. I'm mostly saying she's not going to go broke. I didn't really read it. I think she's neither here nor there. And I think her loss was a foregone conclusion, and I think she knew it when she ran. She has something waiting for her. She will be awarded something. It could be a contract. It could be a position. She'll be lobbying. She'll be fine. And Wyoming will get the representation they deserve. You know, but she's not a hero either. You know, I did a video about her a long time ago when the opening of the January 6th hearings. I did a duet with her video and I pointed stuff out about her chart. So, yeah. Yeah. Right? Oh, yeah, no. There's pictures of me even as a little kid, especially if I was interrupted reading, because I love to read, right? And I read really, really young. And so there's pictures of me doing this, like, why are you bothering me while I'm reading? So it's like the psycho look. Psycho child. But yes. What about Aunt Haish? I don't do celebrity charts. I do politicians because they deserve it, but I didn't really look at Aunt Haish's chart. Aunt Haish and I are the same age. I don't feel right. She had a hard life, you know. I don't think we're entitled to know her interior life. I don't often do celebrity charts. Like I said, I'll do politicians. I briefly glanced. She's just a little older than me, a couple months older than me. And the way I look at it is it's just another one of us who didn't make it, you know. Sadly. So, yeah. So, yeah. What's that book? Oh, let's see. Book of the Hopi by Frank Waters. It's a penguin book, so I don't know how accurate it is. I bought it when I lived in Arizona. I tend to buy books when I live in different places just because they're my favorite mementos, because I have Venus and Gemini. So I just thought it was cool. Yeah. But yeah. So we're crunchy 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th. I think it's mostly weather. I'm looking at Eastern Europe as well. I'm concerned about things going on in the Ukraine at that time. Especially on like the 18th, late Pacific time. So 19th daytime in Ukraine. And then the 19th evening Pacific time, 20th daytime of Ukraine. So, but yeah. Oh, your best friend is Hopi. That's cool. Yeah. We raised Gen Z. For better or for worse. You know, some parents were shitty, some parents were good. I always said I raised my revenge. I have a younger millennial, like last year you could be a millennial, and then I have an early Gen Zer, and I always said I was raising my revenge. You know, we didn't have the numbers. Some of us were active, some were corporate, like we were kind of like a third. So a third of us were activists and aware. And like some of us knew about cultural appropriation like back in the 90s and didn't do it and made fun of the people who did. And then a third was really lost, just lost. And then another third ended up corporate bootlickers. What do you do about that? Like Tucker Carlson. Fucker Carlson we know exactly who he is. He's the same age as me. I went to school with people like that. And we got into fights, sometimes physical ones, in school. And yes, girls fought in the 80s. Some of us did. Some of us didn't get a lot of dates because of it. But bullies like that, behind the school at the bike racks, yep, after school, yeah. So yeah. No, I believe the official cutoff for Gen X is 65. 61 is really Generation Jones. And I've seen the difference. I was in a relationship with somebody from 1960, 61, and very different experiences growing up. I mean, similar in that we had analog, but yeah. So, yeah. Oh, I'm so glad you like the crunchy alerts. You're welcome. Right? Yeah. That 80. I find it really weird. There was so much social change. Now, here's a good astrological lesson. Pluto is not really a generational planet. Pluto itself is a transpersonal planet. And we're about to find out why. See, we lived through the fastest part of the orbit, right? From Cancer through Capricorn. Now it starts to slow down. And Pluto can last from 11 years in one sign and go out to 31 years. So Pluto and Sag was a very short period of time. Okay. And you'll see, I think the different day connects kind of really give more flavor. But we also had a ton of stuff happening technologically, things sped up, and we didn't manage to shift culturally enough. That's why we're facing the backlash. Why is 818 crunchy? It's crunchy because Mars and the moon will be meeting up, trine Pluto. And that trine in mundane astrology is unrestricted energy. So when we're doing divinatory astrology or mundane or forecasting astrology, you don't look at trines in the same way you do in a natal chart. And even in a natal chart, it's not always like, oh, look at the blessings. And that's like cardboard cutout cookbook astrology, What it depends on which planets are doing what to whom for how many cookies, on how that plays out. So yeah. There is a link. You guys, you can click the link in my bio. And I've got all the links there. Links to join Patreon, links to my podcast, links to booking readings with me. Absolutely. Yeah, I'll have a master's class up for natal charts soon. I just haven't put it up yet. Once I have that up, I'll get it on my link page. Where do I see Gen X really coming forward to support Gen Z? I think that's a flawed question. Because I think some of us always have been fighting. So I think it's a flawed question. I think you see Gen X supporting Gen Z all the time from certain sectors. So I think the question itself is flawed. I think if you look from it astrologically, the Pluto in Libra will be more energizing in general to the Pluto in Sag, that energy naturally sextiles. The way I view it is, it's not Gen Z's job to make the change. It's not by themselves. Okay, I'm not saying they shouldn't. I'm saying they shouldn't be alone in it to start with. And I admonished on another live stream that people need to stop saying, hey, you guys go, we're behind you. No, get your fucking asses out there and be out there with them. I just think there's more effective things we can do. I don't think older Gen Xers need to run for office. I think they need to be on planning commissions and policy making or advising. So I do a lot of mentorship. Okay. I raise people up. And I think that's some of what we need to do is support that. So mods have got you on your questions when it comes to that. I've been talking about why 818 is crunchy. It is the moon and Mars and Taurus are meeting up. They're trying Pluto. I expect some big bada boom energy. But yeah. So yeah. Yes, you can see all kinds of past life information in both a natal chart and in a synastry reading. It takes experience to be able to do that. So, yeah. Yeah. Right. Zennials get zero recognition. Welcome to be a Gen Xer. Like TikTok's the only place you hear about us, man. And it's because we're talking about ourselves, which is really funny because like when I graduated from high school, we did a poll. Okay. And they were like, it was funny. They were like, do you identify as a jock or a soc or this? 85% of us said, do not label me. Do not give me a name. Do not call me something. Don't put me in your box. Don't. Just don't. I just want to be me. I don't care what you call me. Do not define me. And that was really something. I graduated in 87 and I have that paper somewhere, something that makes me smile from time to time. So like that many, even if we had very different philosophical beliefs, we all kind of agreed on take your fucking labels and shove them up your butts. We don't want them. Because we were trying to just kind of, it was an early burning it to the ground kind of thing. And we didn't have all the language people do now. So people now, they talk about non-binary, things like that. We were going gender neutral or androgynous. That was kind of the holdover from the 70s, that kind of thing. So yeah. And see, for me, I don't like half of it because people will be like, they'll be like, so you're really confident. Does that make you really more masculine? And I'm like, what the fuck does confidence have to do with being a woman or being a female? I'm confident because I have lived through hell and survived it. I was not confident as a young person. So, it's one of those things where I'm like, why are you identifying that? Like confidence, surety, the ability to make decisions. That's not a gendered thing. That's a human thing. That's just being human. That's not gender. Yeah. So that's somewhere where I go with that. Because I'm like, no. It's social constructs. But I love how people are running with it and saying, I'll dress how the hell I want. I'll do what the hell I want. I love who the hell I want. Fuck yeah. Call yourself whatever you want. And I will no longer get in trouble for calling people they and them. Because I always did as a kid. Be like, they, them, who, that, what, they'd be like, no, it's not like that. I'm like, kind of is. Look here, parts of speech. So, works for me. It's just, people have chosen to own the labels now versus we were rejecting labels. And so that's why sometimes you might have trouble with people who are older. I'm not talking about the conservative asshats, okay? I'm talking about people who maybe are more progressive, but they don't like the terms. And it's because we were trying to get rid of labels. But, call it what you will. I don't care. But yeah. That's a beautiful thing, yeah. I do not connect human. Yeah, I don't do human design. It's too. I will have somebody come into our mystery school once I open the mystery school and teach human design because they're predeterministic. I don't like predeterminism. Human beings have free will. We get to exercise our free will. We get to self-actualize, and you don't need your basic needs to self-actualize. Transcendence is the thing. Transcendence isn't hitting nirvana and enlightenment, but transcendence is where we can let go of social cultural programming and determine for ourselves what we want to keep and what we want to let go of. And it is possible. So I know there are people who say you shouldn't, but not everything in every culture is great to hold on to, you know, like different kinds of mutilation of personal parts. You know, that's usually coming from patriarchy in some way. So for me, it's all about agency and teaching people how to use their agency, which includes determining, you know what, I'm going to keep this part of my culture because I really believe in it. But you got to know if you really do, you know. So it's just about self-examination. So I'm not here to tell anybody what to believe. Just give them processes on how to determine if that's what works for them or not. But yeah. Alrighty. So, got a new podcast episode up. If you guys haven't been listening to my podcast, you can find that link in my bio. Got room and spots open in September. If you're wanting to book a reading, I believe I am fully booked up for August. Although I'll be getting Jennifer, on the books for weekends. We'll have one spot Saturday and Sunday for her open because she needs to get her hours in. So I'll be present. She'll be doing her residency hours. So I'll be getting that up in the next couple of days. So keep your eyes out for that. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. And once again, thank you so much for helping me reach 600 patrons. It's unbelievable. That is just amazing. And I don't know what to say other than thank you from the bottom of my heart for allowing me to serve and be in my purpose and to keep educating people and helping you radically love yourself. That is the most exciting thing, because I will argue with you till the day is long about how valuable you really are. So, because we need you to know that if this world has got a shot, and by God, if I could get people there, it was all worth it. So much love, guys, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Remember, tomorrow's Wednesday. On Wednesdays, we smash the patriarchy, okay? All right.